Hi, my name is Bernie Mim. I'm a landscape architect and a certified arborist and a certified professional horticulturalist. And tonight we're going to talk a little bit about pruning shrubs and specifically this American boxwood. So the first thing we want to talk about is tools. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take these and just put them to the side because we really would never use shears like that to correctly prune a shrub. And we see that a lot of times, especially on a commercial site or somebody that really is not that skilled is going to go out and just shear everything into a ball or into a square or something like that. And that's a very unhealthy way to prune a shrub, because what that does is it concentrates over time. It'll concentrate the leaves into a very narrow band, and it will make the leaves, the shrub, very susceptible to snow damage, to insects and disease. So what we're going to use are these Felco #2s. This is a commercial variety. They cost about $60, but certainly there are little ones that are a little less expensive that you can buy for a homeowner that will work just as well. But these are the best. Professionals, all the professionals use this Felco #2. So we're going to look at this American boxwood here, and a couple things to think about is we want, when we're done pruning, for it to look natural. And so we want to keep it in its natural shape. We just don't want it to get, as high as the porch or something like that, because then if we have to try to cut it back that point, it'll be way too late, and all that will be left on the inside is just sticks and no leaves. It's also important with boxwoods and other shrubs to have the leaf height, the branch height vary some, so that it's not all at the same elevation. And what that does is it allows more leaves for photosynthesis, and also for just the general health of the tree, a little more air circulation. So what I would normally do with something like this is fine. I would just say, let's just make it a little smaller. So what I want to do is take the longest stems that are here, and I want to prune those off back into the shrub. And what I try to look for, if I could, is another branch to prune back to, just like that. I want to try to get back to another branch. I want to try not to leave a stub. And like, for example, this one here, I want to get a little bit of a close-up there. I want to try to prune that back to any place along here where there's another branch like this. So I want to try not to leave it at a stub like this. And so in other words, I wouldn't want to leave something like this on the inside, because that will probably just die back, and that could be an avenue for insect and especially disease to go into the plant. And what I'll usually do when I go out to a job site and one of my professional pruners is pruning is I'll tell them, I'll give a number. I'll say prune 15, 20, 30 of the longest stems. And what that does, again, it just reduces the height. And I'm just here just doing this. I'll prune this one to here. The other thing I want to do is try to have them prune them at various heights, so they're not all, again, at the same height. So I want to prune that back into the shrub. And see, then that leaves these longer stems here as the new long stem. And we'll just go back into here. This is pretty close to what I would want to do on almost every shrub. Let me just talk about the time of year. I know it's summer right now. Boxwoods can pretty much be pruned at almost any time. Kind of don't want to prune them during the spring, because they're putting on their growth then, and you're just going to have to prune them again. So after they put on their growth over the spring, any time between now and winter is fine. And see what I'm doing again, I'm just looking for the longest stems, pruning those back into the plant, keeping its natural shape. And this plant would probably take me 20 minutes or so, maybe even a little longer to do, and we don't have that kind of time, so we're not going to do the whole thing. But I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. I just leave them on the ground. A lot of times I'll have a little bucket next to me, and I'll be able just to throw all the trimmings in that, so I won't have to rake them up again. And see, again, I'm pruning them to different heights, so when you look at it, it's all not the same. One other thing, if you see a dead branch can always be pruned off. There isn't any reason not to. And see this, because once a branch is dead, it will never leaf out again. That doesn't mean that if branch doesn't have leaves on it, it'll never leaf out again, because it still might, but I can tell these branches are very brittle, so they're definitely dead. We can just prune those right back off. This one, see again, I'm pruning back to another stem. There we go. That's going to be a little hole, but what's going to happen is these are going to grow in and fill that little hole. That's not going to be a problem. And so I think that's it for our boxwood pruning of the evening. And thank you very much.